Green flag back in the air. Here comes the outside line. Momentum building with William Byron in the 9. Joey Logano already straddling between the inside and outside lines as they go down the backstretch.
About Tyler Reddick in about the 7th row there. He made a big aggressive move on the inside of Brandon Jones, getting into 1, trying to get in that bottom lane.
Ryan Reed up to 3rd. Now, Ryan Reed to 2nd on the inside. Ryan Reed trying to gain his 3rd career win, and all 3 potentially could come at Daytona. 3 laps to go.
Go to the 9, go to the 9.
The 9 of William Byron goes low, trying to get by the 22. They can't go below the double yellow line. Here comes the 20. Eric Jones has made the move on the outside.
The 22 did a good job of using the double yellow line, but it hurt his momentum. Eric Jones trying to capitalize.
Eric Jones on the outside, and around almost goes to 22. Joey Logano slides into the grass. He falls way back.
There you go. Still green, still green.
Race stays green, and Joey Logano leaving some of the grass on the racetrack there in the entrance of turn 3. William Byron coming out of turn number 4. 2 laps of racing to go. Here comes Ryan Reed again on the outside. Ryan Reed to the lead as they go into turn 1. William Byron fights back on the inside. Byron back out in front.
William Byron with a great job of that side draft to slow the 16 down.
Hard into the wall goes to 33. He collects the 5 of Mike Lynette. Caution comes out. Numerous cars get caught up in this one. Brandon Jones in the 33, Mike Lynette in the 5, the 2 of Ben Kennedy, the 40 of Timmy Hill. Cole Custer with a lot of damage to the double zero.
It just felt inevitable. There was just so much pushing, so much banging, no one doing anything wrong. They're fighting for their race team, their fans, their sponsor, but you can only get away with it for so long, and finally the pushes and the runs just became too much.
There's a good chance that they will stop this field after they get through turn 2 or right in turn 2 to red flag this. It will end under overtime, as you see the 16 crew working feverishly to try to do all they can before the red flag comes out, because once a red flag comes out, they have to stop working on the car. Mike Lynette making it into the ambulance. He'll go to the infield care center.
Mike Lynette had such a good run going, as you said, Jeff, just looking for a bright spot.
Mike Lynette and Brandon Jones both, once again, just got caught up in something.
Ryan Reed, I know he's not going to be a race winner today, but what a job getting into this race, being in the conversation at the closing laps, had fought his way up, had the lead.
All right, red's out, red's out.
Red's out. They can't work on the car anymore. You see steam coming out of some of the cars.
Steve,
the overflow.
This red flag is significant because we have several cars that pitted on lap 54. So in this red flag coming out, they're not burning any fuel.
That's right.
And that's a big call by NASCAR to red flag. It's the right thing to do.
You see right here, Brandon Jones is just pushing, trying to get that run, pushing Eric Jones in front of him, who's into the rear bumper of Ryan Reed, and basically the push just gets too much. Justin Allgaier pushes the back of Brandon Jones. He gets into the outside wall, and from there, it's a chain reaction.
And you may say, well, why does Justin Allgaier get in there and push when, you know, the line in front of you is getting stacked up? Because you can't see. You have no idea what's going on 2 cars in front of you. So Justin Allgaier, he just knows he needs to push Brandon Jones. He's got to push him to make something happen, but he can't see the cars in front of him are having trouble.
And you see right here, this is what happens. They just get stacked up. The 20 is into the 16, the 33 is into the 20. and that's all it takes. He kind of either loses a little momentum or the 7 just hits him too hard. They spin around, and these cars behind, there's just nothing they can do. Very fortunate that 33 stayed on his wheels. You see the 42 through the grass. You know, this is always the concerning point. When cars start hitting other cars, we see them climb up and get airborne. Luckily, all these cars stayed on the ground.
It's plate racing. It's Steve, you said they're all racing. They're racing for their teams, their fans. This is the nature of plate racing. You have to push. You have to shove. If you don't, your line never moves. But when you do push and you do shove, we have these incidences. And listen, once this wreck starts, just as a driver, you know, it's a terrible feeling. You're hoping you don't hit anything hard. You mentioned it. We've seen so many incidences where cars start flipping. It's a terrible feeling for a driver.
Riding along at 100 miles an hour with a bat cam, and you see the wreck almost come back to the camera there as they slowed way down.
Wow, look at the 23 car there on the bottom, you know, going through the grass.
And this is the shot. You see the cars dancing side to side, trying to get position, and then the 33 just gets spit out of line that quick. And from there, the major crash, and then all of these crew members, everyone that works on all of these cars right here, this is where the disappointment of Speedway racing comes in. The long walk from pit road back to the hauler, knowing you had a chance. You built a car, you came down here, you worked all weekend long, your spotter, your driver were communicating, and one car pushes another, and they all crash.
Where you are. Come through there.
That was from Matt Tiff's perspective, 19 car.
Look at all the grass inside the car.
Yeah.
All the crush panels get knocked out of the car, and just everything flies inside.
33, Brandon Jones into the wall. Comes back across, collects Michael Annette in the 5. And as you mentioned, those 2 cars sideways in front of the rest of the field. Now it's luck. Michael Annette collected the 7 of Justin Allgaier.
Well, this was the crash that we all felt was coming, but even leading up to this, we saw some huge moves, huge blocks. Joey Logano had William Byron all the way down to the double yellow line, getting into turn 1. And then on the backstretch, William Byron shoving the 22. Finally, he got squirrely or loose, and somehow Joey Logano went a little agricultural, but somehow made it. You see right here, Joey Logano leading the race, and you see, I think it started behind the 9. It looks like the 16 shoves the 9. The 9 has to correct, and as he moves across the rear bumper of the 22, it spits the 22 out of line. Joey Logano does a spectacular job of keeping that car going straight.
Yeah, the 1 shoves the 16 shoves the 9, the 9 shoves the 20. You know, it's just a chain reaction. They're all just pushing each other, trying to win this race, and ultimately it just pushes Joey Logano off the racetrack.
Hitting that grass on the backstretch at 185 miles an hour. Grass collecting on the splitter and the front bumper. Right along.
The 20 popped up there while we were defending. Stay with the 9. There you go. Big shove.
Working in the middle with the 3 behind them. Just wrecking on the bottom.
Yeah, they're
wrecking on the bottom.
There you go.
Clear high, clear.
And that's, I mean, it's that easy, right? The 9 didn't mean to move the 22 out of line, but you know, these bumpers are not perfectly square. The drivers make it seem like they are because they bang time and time and time again, but the bumpers have a little bit of shape to them, and when they aren't lined up perfectly, it just moves the car out of line. And we're listening to Joey Logano about that incident.
It's going to end up in the left rear. Set me for a little bit of a ride. Oh yeah, the grass eater.
And you hear there's no disappointment. He's, you know, he understands. He understands. He is perhaps the most aggressive pusher out there. That's how he recovered up the outside, so he knows. And look at the list of cars involved in the wreck.
Such a difficult ending to a lot of these drivers' days. But William Byron out in front as we will be getting ready for overtime. Let's see if we can chat with William.
Hey, William, it's Jeff up in the booth. You with us?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Well, that was an eventful few laps. As ended up with you being in the lead. What's your strategy now to try to get this win?
I think probably just hopefully get a push by the 1 and be able to get out front and just kind of control each line. So I think that's the best thing we can do. And you know, as long as we can do that, I think we can get a win.
So we saw Joey Logano put a great big block on you getting into turn one. You ended up locking you guys up. And how'd you see all that?
Yeah, I just had a huge run into one. I had a lane down there, and he took that one away. And then we got to the backstretch, and I'm just trying to push him. I'm on the yellow line, and he was half off the yellow line, and I was, you know, I had to stay square with the help I had behind me. So I was just trying to get pushed from behind and try and push him forward, and he ended up getting sideways. So unfortunate there, but I think we you know, we just got to get pushed straight, and hopefully if we can do that, I think we'll be able to hold on to it.
Well, we saw you last week get your first Xfinity Series win. Now you're sitting here leading Daytona, historic Daytona. What would it mean for a young guy to get a win at Daytona?
It'd be awesome. I mean, this is a really famous place. There's still a lot of laps left for things to happen here, and I've got the rookie stripe on the back, so not a lot of guys want to help. But I think, you know, just proud of the team's improvement. We brought a fast race car, and hopefully we can cap it off.
Well, good luck. We'll be watching. Thanks for letting us talk.
Thank you.
So, Rick, are you sure that's a 19-year-old one-time winner? Because he sounds like I think I'm more animated up here in the booth, and he's sitting down there in all the action.
Yes, and I'm gonna throw it right back to you and say he's 19 years old, and he's really been put under the arm of Rick Hendrick. And what does that do to you when you're in that organization to where he has an influence on just the person that you become?
Well, I think it's twofold. It's easy to say, well, then he should have a lot of confidence and shouldn't feel a lot of pressure when the owner says, you know, I believe in you. But the flip side of that is this young man has dreamt of being a race car driver. That's what he wants to do as a career. And now one of the most powerful owners in all of stock car racing, perhaps motorsports across the world, has said, I think you can do it. I'm going to tab you. I'm going to put you in the Xfinity program that he co-owns with Dale Earnhardt Jr. That is real pressure. You know, at the same time, while that man right there, Rick Hendrick, tries to take the pressure off, I can assure you, unknowingly, he has stacked the pressure on because, oh, by the way, look, you're going to get in the 9. Chase Elliott, the protege, the gentleman who got out of the 9, he won a championship in this car. He's now filled in and taken Jeff Gordon's seat in the iconic 24. Other seats are opening up at Hendrick Motorsports. So, I mean, there's no way William Byron can't feel the pressure, even though it's an opportunity, the pressure of Rick Hendrick saying, hey, you're my kind of driver.
Hendrick has joined down below the 9 pit box. Dave Ellens is still up here, hard at work. Your driver has had a couple of misses and a lot of hits in terms of good things done today. What do you think about his efforts so far?
His efforts is pretty good. He's learning a lot out of there, doing a lot better than what we did in the first race. So another good restart. Hopefully we go get ourselves our second win.
You want the inside or the outside?
We want our teammate behind us, so we'll be on the inside.
Very good. You guys talked about it earlier. That's how you make the choice these days.
Yellow's been displayed. The engine's fired back up. They're rolling once again. The track is clean. Next driver for Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick, standing by with Dave.
And, of course, he always knows not to count his chickens before they've been hatched. But it's been a big week. A win out in Iowa to get his first, and now here in position to win here at Daytona. What's been most about it, William, this week, Rick?
Well, you know, it's he's got an unbelievable amount of talent and poise for his age, and you know, just a great young man. And we're excited about the future with him. And I hope Elliott or William One can bring it home here today. But real excited about Junior tonight on the pole and Chase and the guys. And you know, this is a special place. And we'd love to get a win here any way you can.
What are your emotions like right now, Rick? Because tonight is big. Junior saying maybe on this being the last one, but potentially the final time he runs here in the Cup Series at Daytona.
You know, it's hard for me to believe, to see, to think this is his last full-time deal. To see Jeff, you know, retire on me, I feel like I ought to be the one retiring, not these guys. And but you know, it's been we're going to still do a lot of things, you know, together with the Xfinity cars, and he's going to help on the 88. And so, you know, we're still going to be there. It's just going to be different walking in the garage area and not seeing his name on the roof of a car. So you probably will see it some in this series, and who knows.
Well, and I know it's been a special relationship between the two of you. That's got to make it a little harder to say goodbye maybe to this place in this series.
Well, you know, Dale loves the sport. He loves being around the fans. He loves being around the team. So I'm holding him to it. He says he's going to help me. So we're gonna still have a lot of fun together, and just like Jeff and I do. And so he's got too much passion for his fans and for this sport. He'll be around.
Neither leaving the sport, just changing paths.